Is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer? We got to talk about it.
Growing up as a kid, yeah. All a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from everybody. Life lesson learned, I better learn from this bitch, nobody. She pushed me around, she didn't give no motherfucks about it. She broke my heart 3 times, but I ain't getting...
What is up, everybody? It's JT Sports. I am back to you guys with another video. Before I get into it, make sure that you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel because I upload NFL videos and NFL content daily. Also, make sure that you guys turn on post notifications so you don't miss a new upload. So, Julian Edelman recently announced his retirement a couple of days ago. And the biggest debate that is going around the social media world is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer? Now, when you look at Julian Edelman, he had a really good career, okay? 620 receptions, 6,822 receiving yards, 36 touchdowns. He was 2018 Super Bowl MVP. He had 118 receptions in the playoffs, 1,442 receiving yards in the playoffs as well, with 5 playoff touchdowns. Julian Edelman had a really good career. But really good does not belong in the Hall of Fame, okay? The NFL Hall of Fame is for great players, not really good players. Julian Edelman was a really good player. And I hate having to make these kind of videos when a player retires because I feel like we should just all admire how good a player was. I really hate having to make videos about does a player belong in the Hall of Fame or not because it kind of somewhat diminishes what he's done throughout his professional NFL career. Julian Edelman was a really good NFL player. Okay, but really good doesn't equate to great. The NFL Hall of Fame should honor some of the greatest players in NFL history. And to me personally, I don't think Julian Edelman is one of the greatest players in NFL history. And I know he has had a lot of success in the postseason. Okay, he won Super Bowl MVP, but do you want to know another wide receiver that has won Super Bowl MVP? Hines Ward. Hines Ward was Super Bowl MVP in 2005. He has 1,000 career receptions, which is 14th all-time, 12,083 receiving yards, which is 26th all-time, 85 touchdowns, which is 16th all-time. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and also, like I mentioned earlier, he was a Super Bowl MVP. If he didn't make it to the Hall of Fame, along with being a Super Bowl MVP, with way better numbers than Julian Edelman, why does Julian Edelman somehow deserves to be in the Hall of Fame over Hines Ward? What about Wes Welker? Wes Welker, in my opinion, is the best slot receiver in NFL history. This guy was an undrafted free agent. Remember, undrafted free agent. This guy was not drafted. He's 22nd all-time in receptions with 903. He's 51st all-time in career receiving yardage with 9,924. He's 129th all-time in receiving touchdowns with 50. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time All-Pro. He led the NFL in receptions in 2007, 2009, and 2011. And somehow Wes Welker hasn't even got mentioned in the Hall of Fame discussion. So if Wes Welker and Hines Ward are not in the Hall of Fame, why should Julian Edelman be in the Hall of Fame over those guys with, nowhere close to having the success those two guys have had in his career? So, listen, I understand Julian Edelman is one of the greatest New England Patriots players of all time. He belongs in the New England Patriots Hall of Fame without a doubt. They should retire his jersey. But at the same time, the NFL Hall of Fame is a different thing, okay? For Julian Edelman, he is one of the greatest Patriots of all time. Nobody's denying that. But is he one of the greatest NFL players of all time? That's what you have to ask yourself. The Hall of Fame is for generational talent. Julian Edelman was a really good player, not great. The NFL Hall of Fame is for great players. Julian Edelman only had 3 seasons out of his NFL career when he had over 1,000 receiving yards. Hines Ward and Wes Welker both had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, more than Julian Edelman. Wes Welker was the key piece to why New England was such a great team back in the early 2010s. This guy was an essential All-Pro. He was regarded as one of the best slot receivers of the past decade. Do we regard Julian Edelman as one of the best slot receivers in NFL history? No, we do not. Was Julian Edelman ever considered one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, period? No, he was not. Was Julian Edelman ever regarded as a top 10 player, a top 10 wide receiver? No, he was not. Has Julian Edelman ever been regarded as the best slot receiver in the NFL during his playing career? No, he has not. Wes Welker has. Hines Ward has been mentioned throughout his playing career as a top 10 wide receiver when he was on the field, when he was playing for Pittsburgh. Has Julian Edelman ever been a top 10 player, a top 10 wide receiver throughout his New England Patriots career? No, he has not. So, yes, he won Super Bowl MVP, but what about Hines Ward? He won Super Bowl MVP as well, and his numbers are way better than Julian Edelman. Wes Welker, 3-time reception leader, 2-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, one of the greatest undrafted players in NFL history. Probably behind, a lot of greats who have also been undrafted. Hasn't even sniffed the Hall of Fame. Doesn't even have any Hall of Fame arguments. And yet, we want to put Julian Edelman in the Hall of Fame over Hines Ward and Wes Welker. Guys who have had better careers. Guys who have had a lot of success with a bunch of accolades, and we want to put Julian Edelman over these guys. Think about that. And I'm not trying to make this argument to diminish what Julian Edelman has done throughout his NFL career. He has been a really good player, but really good does not belong in the Hall of Fame. Really good gets you in the People's Hall of Fame, the fan favorite Hall of Fame. Let me ask you a question. You New England Patriots fans really like Julian Edelman, right? If you really liked Julian Edelman, then why was he never a Pro Bowl selection? And you can say, well, JT, because he was always in the Super Bowl. But he never received any votes, a lot of votes. He was never regarded as a fan favorite, which is why if he was a fan favorite, he would have been in the Pro Bowl. Even when the New England Patriots were not in the Super Bowl, was he in the Pro Bowl? No, he was not. So, listen, Julian Edelman had made big plays throughout his NFL career. A lot of big plays, okay? But that's one of the criteria for being a Hall of Famer. You have to make big plays. Hines Ward made big plays. Wes Welker made big plays when they mattered the most. So has Julian Edelman. What does him making big plays on the biggest stage have anything to do with him making it to the Hall of Fame? That's part of the criteria of making it to the Hall of Fame. But does he check the other boxes? Has he ever been regarded as one of the best at his position? No, he has not. Has he ever been to a Pro Bowl? No, he has not. Has he ever been an All-Pro? No, he has not. Being an All-Pro is more than just being regarded as one of the best in the game. It's a respect thing, okay? Being an All-Pro signifies that you are considered amongst the best of the best. Wes Welker was considered one of the best of the best. Julian Edelman was not even a Pro Bowl selection, not even one Pro Bowl appearance. One. But New England Patriots fans love him so much, but yet they never loved him that much to the point that they were willing to get him to the Pro Bowl. Hines Ward was a Super Bowl MVP. Has double the amount of career yards as Julian Edelman. He can't even sniff Canton. So we're trying to say that Julian Edelman deserves to be in the Hall of Fame over Welker and Hines Ward? I just can't see it. I can't. And you guys also got to look at it like this. You guys can say this is kind of like an Eli Manning discussion, and I can understand that. But even then, Eli Manning, throughout his career, has had a couple of seasons when he was regarded as top 10 in his field. Eli Manning was a top 10 quarterback like 3-4 times throughout his NFL career is when we regarded Eli as a top 10 quarterback. You see, Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer because of what he's done in the postseason. He is a playoff legend, which is why we remember Eli from what he's done in the playoffs. But he has also had success in the regular season as well. He has been a top 10 quarterback 4 times throughout his career. When have we ever considered Julian Edelman top 10 in his position? Never. Okay, I understand. Julian Edelman was a hard worker. He did whatever it took to win. He was a great clog in the New England Patriots system. He is a great New England Patriot. But is he one of the greatest players of all time? No, he's not. He's not even the best slot receiver of all time. Wes Welker, in my opinion, is the greatest slot receiver in NFL history. And we don't even make no Hall of Fame discussions or any Hall of Fame debates about Wes Welker. Hines Ward can't even get into the Hall of Fame. Has Hines Ward even been a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame? With way better numbers than Julian Edelman. He's top 20 in several stats and receptions and touchdowns, and he can't even make the semifinals of the Hall of Fame discussion. But yet, what makes Julian Edelman so more special to the fact that he should be overexceeding these guys with only 36 career touchdowns, 156 in career receiving yardage, and 75th in receptions? Because of the success he's had in the playoffs? Okay, that's great. But he's not the only wide receiver who has had success in the playoffs. Hines Ward was a Super Bowl MVP. So somehow we just want Julian Edelman to just somehow leapfrog these guys? Julian Edelman was a really good player. He belongs in the People's Hall of Fame. But really good does not get you into the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is for great. Not really good, great. And was Julian Edelman a great? No, he wasn't. He's a great New England Patriot, but he's not one of the greatest players of all time. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section down below. Make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content, and thank you guys for watching.